Hello everyone, welcome to ESL TV for the ESL 1 Battlefield 4 2014 Spring Group Stages. We're into Group B here, and we're into our final match tonight. I'm Jason Kaplan, joined by the elegant Lauren Pansy Scott. Elegant now, today.
I'll take it, but I'm not saying it's true.
I say a lot of things about Dahlberg that aren't true most of the time either. So, but we're getting underway here with ExAequo up against Epsilon here. It's our final game of the night, and we'll find out which team will be advancing on into the playoffs and which team will be going into, unfortunately, Group D.
Yeah, so let's not waste too much time, because I think they are actually ready on the server, so we can dive right into that one now. I don't think many of us expected Epsilon to be in this position, so we'll see how they do now. They got their back. They will be facing off against ExAequo, who we did see earlier, not quite keeping up to Pyrogen's kind of blistering lead, but this time around it'll be Epsilon on the US side. ExAequo will be on the Chinese side, and as per usual, we are seeing that nice little boost up from the Chinese side in towards B straight away, and already we might have a bit of an exchange going through.
Yeah, we do, and right now, first kill does go over to the side of Epsilon here, and obviously they're probably the team that we both have as favorites to make it through at this game, since ExAequo unfortunately didn't really impress us too much, but B has been capped over. We have that 2-1 hold in favor of them. Let's see if they can hold on to here, and with the kills coming in, it looks like they might in fact be able to. And just for you guys at home who are a little bit curious, this is ExAequo's pick, and we will be going on to Zavod after this, which is Epsilon, and if we do need a third map, it will be on Parasol Storm. And that's the second time we've actually seen Parasol Storm as a third map, but unfortunately not gotten to just yet.
Yeah, it's been over in 2 so far for us, so we'll be hoping to see maybe a little bit more from these guys. But anyway, right now, looking at the overview, the little battle on Catwalk has been won over in the end by ExAequo. They've got a couple of players up there, and it might give them a little bit of an edge towards B, but in the meantime, they have managed to secure C as well. So pincer-ing Epsilon to make their move right here, right now. Marzu's been found as well. Duke coming in round the side, but he does only find Seo using those grenades more than the FAMAS in hand, but still, he's probably waiting on a couple of respawns, but it is fairly clear for now. Both of the players were taken down in the end, and it's still a 2-1 hold in the end to ExAequo. The big thing here is that Asterix actually has a very good back spawn, so he could challenge out either on this catwalk, trying to take down Probo, setting up nicely for the rest of his side to make a move. I can imagine that's what Duke's waiting on, and then seeing how they do from there on. But in the meantime, they need to get this moving.
Is that a sniper rifle?
I didn't think I heard him.
No, it was Magnum. Oof. Sounds close to it almost right there, but you actually had Probo on the catwalk you mentioned before. He actually went out on a 1v1 a little bit after he switched off from that, maintained them control of that catwalk and that B side in particular. But right now, you can see they have capture over to C right now. And we do have 3 men, potentially 4, slowly working their way there, but they are being fended off quite well by Epsilon. It looks like they will go for that final push. We will see a little bit of a firefight breaking out, and that will go Epsilon's favor, and they will maintain this unorthodox CA hold.
And it might be a triple cap, saying that, to be fair, C's not been taken over just yet, and actually Marzu's not far behind. He could turn around easily as soon as he sees C's being capped over. But the fire came in first. Smart play from ExAequo then. Not going straight in for the cap, waiting for the kill, and then going for it, so they wouldn't be able to be challenged out too easily. So Epsilon do have the 2-1 at the moment, and they will be maintaining a good bit of dominance if they can get into good spots, basically. And as simple as that, we are saying already the catwalk being picked up there and ran with by Epsilon. ExAequo decided to take more of the building route and the other side of the road, leaving B into the other team's favor, and actually maybe heading straight up towards A, which, to be fair, no one's actually defending right now for the opposition, so this could be a big weakness. Duke is kind of maybe considering falling back a touch, but it doesn't really have to do much just yet, because they're all inside, and he's got a nice shot there on towards Terra, and his teammate Horek will chime in with one onto Probo. So they've dealt with the threat for now, but 2 players have slipped through, and they are out towards A.
Yes, they are, and right now, they have that strong control of B and A here. David gonna pick up another kill. Throw a nade in there for a little bit of extra oomph. And pick up another one, but there's still 3 men there, sorry, waiting to push in. And it's a 2-on-3 hold. They pick up the 1, and the revive will come in, I believe. And all right, ExAequo, they're kind of struggling to pick up a second flag. They did lose out on C for a little bit here as it was back capped. I believe I'm gonna guess Asterix, since he's always the man to seem to be doing that. And they still can't get in day. They finally have broken through. There's 1 man at the back of C. But Epsilon, what's their next move here? Marzu, you saw him in the building, just kind of trying to get some information. Probo trying to get control of catwalk yet again, but he gets shut down, and C will be instantly capped over for Epsilon.
Yeah, but Epsilon are quite weak on B right now. They've finally got some reinforcements coming in towards that catwalk, but Marzu is really in the thick of things. He does pick up the kill on towards Blade, but has to back away quite quickly to maintain a little bit of HP, as the rest of the ExAequo side are making their way through down on the right side of the street. Really utilizing that rather than walking into the massive trap that Epsilon have set up, and it has given them a bit of a foot in the door towards this C site, and they might be able to make something happen from it. The push comes in, Horek holds off, but while we're seeing that going down, The buildings are slowly but surely being taken over. Marzu's dealt with Sayo, who was that player trying to push up to gain control. But it's also dragged a lot of the players away from Epsilon from this B site. And it's opened up for Blade on the respawn and ExAequo to get a good setup hold and try and challenge out on a 2-1.
Look at that on the top right side, though, Pans. We have, who's that, Proba sitting really far back, trying to just wait, bide his time here. And he actually might act as an anchor here, a kind of a respawn beacon for someone if they do lose control of A here in just a few seconds. But he does get taken down. Unfortunately, does not survive. And that kind of strategy will not work out for them. But A has been capped over. Still 2-1 now, back in favor of ExAequo. They still are down about 20 tickets here, and they are fighting up against probably the most favorite team, and obviously the #1 team throughout the season.
Yeah, they definitely are. And Marzu's in a good position there, actually. He's got himself up. He's not got too much of a support with him, but he can force the respawns in. But already, ExAequo are doing the same thing. So it would be a 2v1. He's probably going to play a little bit of a draw of an attention, hopefully. But the way that ExAequo is set up is actually very, very nicely done. They have the player within the building, Terra, trying to keep these guys off the other catwalk. They had the player over there, ExAequo, but him going down is kind of giving a little bit of a window for Epsilon now to try and make a push. And those tickets are very close to each other. I still feel ExAequo are in the better position to maintain here. Unless Asterix can slip through and get some of these kills, and he needs to alleviate the pressure from this little bit of a pass, but he has gone down. Terra and Blade hold on strong. And this is going to make it really hard work for Epsilon to break through, and you're seeing that in the fact that Horek is having to fight from the baseline there, trying to kind of avoid the nades coming flying in, fighting uphill quite literally. They do have the 2-1, and they're going for a sneaky little triple cap, sending the vast majority of them round the backside here, forcing the rest of ExAequo to try and face them on their terms, and it might just pay off, but can they get back towards C to defend this, or will this be a nice 2-1 in favor to ExAequo at the end of the day?
ExAequo actually got an interesting respawn coming in. He actually got a back spawn on terms of catwalk, was able to pick up a kill and able to get full control of that so they can maintain control of B. Like I said before, that try kept, well, for a split second maybe it came in there. It was turned around just quickly by ExAequo, but now they're trying to fight into C. And as you can see, it's going to be a 1v1 for control of it, and that will not be won out by either team just yet here. So that might give a little bit of time for some respawns to come in, but there's the nades, and that will be C back in favor of Epsilon. But now, for capping B at the same time, they have ExAequo forced to this east side of the street. As you can see, they have to walk completely across it in a completely disadvantageous position. But they do pick up one kill, and Duke now probably just looking for anyone rotating through. And Marzu, if he can come up big here, if he can pick up a couple of kills, this is going to be huge. And he's going to get #1, and that will actually lock it down with Duke getting a little bit of a crossfire in there. They hold control of A. They had that tri-cap in there, and now they're going to be working for B.
Yeah, it was an interesting play then, actually, because I thought ExAequo were going to kind of bait out a little bit on B, go straight for that A cap. They kind of did it the other way around. They went fully committed towards B and sent a couple towards A, leaving Marzu to do what he did. Now, that has kind of bitten them in the arse a little bit, I've got to say, because now Epsilon do have the 2-1 hold, and once they take down the threat that is on this catwalk that you can see the nades are raining in towards of ExAequo and I believe Blade, like they're pretty much pinned in right now. They've kind of put a bit of time on one side, but you're seeing the escape artist making a bit of a run for it. Blade kind of go on the rotate all the way around the other side, and actually it's a bit of a turnaround. Horek now is pincered in himself, and he could be in trouble. All of this just for the battle, and that long rotate around the back from Blade does finally get dealt with by Horek, but it gets won over in the end by ExAequo, and now they could convert onto B, but no one was quick enough to make a push out of it. So it will be a 2-1 in favor to Epsilon, which seems to have given them a lot of tickets here, 72-29. Wow. That's a big advantage they've kind of carved away from this. But B is being chipped away at, and there's no one to quickly challenge onto C, so they might have to go for the kind of try and hold on towards this B site rather than going for the quick take on towards C.
It seems like they're just going to take their time here. They realized we have a huge lead, 50 tickets right now. A lot to work with, and obviously David going to be taken down, so that B push will be unsuccessful, but it was neutralized at least. And you can see on the overview cam that there's a lot of deaths, a lot of blue deaths right now, and they need to get those respawns in. They definitely want to go into the second half with probably a 60 ticket lead. They probably want to win this 2-0 and not drag it out any longer than they really need to, because ExAequo, I mean, we learned against PyRo earlier on that they seemed to finally figure out the teams. It took them a little bit of time, but eventually they got to the point where they could figure out how they work and really come back from that. And if ExAequo can last 3 maps, maybe if they win 2-0, like they can really punish Epsilon, and we could see them be dropping into Group D.
Yeah, and I've got to say, ExAequo were in a great position. They had the players here on the catwalk. They had a couple inside, and they're kind of getting back to that. And that's why they're able to hold on towards this B site for so long. But Probo moving off to maybe assume that C was being targeted has kind of opened up this B site for the taking. And Epsilon, you don't have to ask them twice. They're going to take that one as best they can and move in. But only Horek standing live. Asterix gets the respawn onto him, but both go down. And that's a good, clean slate wipe coming for ExAequo, taking down the entirety of Epsilon. They should be able to get a good 2-1 hold. if they're fast enough on this and be able to maintain it as well. At the moment, they do have B and C, but A still up in the hands of Epsilon, but with no one there to defend it, it could be a 2-to-1 switch around for Epsilon if they pick up C and then be able to convert over towards one of the other sites, which it looks like Horik's trying to get his head around to straight away.
Yeah, and you see Terry actually was the man pushing in towards A, so he's going to cap that one over. In the meantime, Horik, like I said, trying to work through, does pick one nice shot right there, so that should be B capped over for them. They don't have control of Catwalk, but luckily for them, they don't really need to be in vision of it to really cap the site. We just need to see this kill come in as Horik. Well, he will trade it up. He will pick up the kill. And that will be them capping over B. And also, not to mention, Terror was the last man in the squad standing for a little bit there. They'll get back tapped on C, but they're heading into A at the same time. So fights on all fronts here. Terror does actually survive that one and does maintain this A flag here, which honestly, they definitely needed because they were down 50 tickets. They have closed that now to about 20.
Yeah, and Terra picking up that shot, allowing Blade to get the respawn on him, has given them the numbers advantage on A. So there's no quick takeover here. C, however, is down to a 1-on-1, so it's completely down to Duke and ExAequo to kind of be the better player in this. And actually, Duke is completely unaware as to where the fact of the enemy was coming from. ExAequo will claim that one. And this could be a triple cap coming out if they don't hold on towards A and cap this one over. Epsilon are actually in trouble. I've got to say it, ExAequo have been playing a little bit better in the later stages of this game.
Yeah, they definitely have, and I think it's kind of what I was saying before. It takes them a little bit of time to figure out how the other team's strategy works, but then they finally do. They can close that gap, the difference in tickets, and right now they could potentially come out of this first half with actually a lead, and that's not something I thought I would be saying in this one, but now we're going to see David push in towards B, going to pick up a nice kill, and that will be the cap back for them. Blade is actually still being very aggressive, pushed up in the side of A here, and trying to cause a little bit of distraction. In fact, will be able to get the cap over on that, so they just seem to be a step ahead of Epsilon right now, and it looks like they will finally take over the lead here in just a few seconds.
They are in such a better spot, and actually I think David even was surprised then that those two players who are defending A for Epsilon went down and died to one man, which was Blade. So his individual performance then pretty much gifted them a good solid hold here. B is kind of being contested both sides. You've got the pushover from Epsilon from that street side, and they're gonna have to make this count. This is their final chance here. C is gonna go their way, but David coming in big with a double kill has opened the side up for the takings. Here he comes, takes down a third. Beautiful play from him, and there we go. They should at least have this side here completely wiped over, but C was not an easy gift. Marzu now in a 1v1, 10 tickets to 9. A is still firmly in the hands of ExAequo, but they're down to 3 players here, and Marzu must have won that, but he let it slip, and they're not in a quick enough position just to completely convert on A. And actually, ExAequo, being as low as they are, could have walked away with a 2-to-1 hold, but it's going to come down to this one exchange. Blade now has to win this. He's going to have to cut on top, and he does. He might just be able to deny this A turnover. They're going to pick up B fairly uncontested, and Epsilon only walking away with the C side. This could turn around if they can keep this going, but right now, oh, beautiful play from Duke coming in from the side, picking up a big selection of kills. It might just be enough to give them the 2-to-1, and Duke there, the one-man band, picking up in the end, but a 6-ticket lead is nothing in a game like this.
I was not expecting 6 tickets at all in that game. We saw over 50-ticket lead for Epsilon, but ExAequo just out of nowhere just seemed to all step up. I mean, you can look at the kills. I mean, everyone did so well on their team. Everyone was really picking up the kills. There wasn't one man slacking, and something we kind of seen on the side of Epsilon. There's always been, you know, one guy to really pick up a lot of kills, and that one guy who kind of just isn't really doing well. Yeah. That seems to be the story for Epsilon at the moment. That was fortunately Marsu in that game. I think it was like 8-15 or 8-19 or something. I don't think it was 19, but ExAequo, everyone was picking up the kills, and everyone was doing the back rotates as well. I mean, we saw Blade do it once towards A. We saw Terror do it once as well. So everyone was being able to be in that position and really kind of catch Epsilon off guard. See,
but the thing I kept seeing, and I want to go kind of back to, is the last time I saw Epsilon play this map with ExAequo in the lineup, at least, they always had, you know, ExAequo playing this position right around the top here, which pretty much gave them B every single time. Whether they're retaking from A or pushing up, he'd constantly be the guy pushing around this area off the back of Catwalk maybe, or whichever way he could get there, and gifting them the B site. But without him here, they kind of struggle to maintain B. They're good at keeping C, they're good at keeping A, but they don't quite have that dominance towards B that we previously saw. And this time around, they'll be starting the Chinese side, so we'll see if they can pick it up on, you know, the way through, but the US side will be ExAequo. So I'm looking forward to see how we come down towards this B exchange here, because normally Epsilon don't go for the most standard of routes, but they will be going for the 3-man respawn coming in, but will they go for the straight-up pick here, actually sending 2 men down towards C? This could be a very different start here.
This is something we kind of see at Dignitas. They kind of always send that one man through the technically, I guess, the sewers, if you want to count it. Usually Jerk is that man, but he's going to be pushing up. He actually does pick up 1 kill here. And Horik, as you can see, well, he's just waiting for his moment to shine here. And he actually even spotted out 1 man back behind him here, and he actually won't get the kill, I believe, but he will get some damage in, and he will eventually go down here. So right now, Epsilon only with the 1 flag. And I never thought that ExAequo would have such a strong start. I mean, considering how strong Epsilon are typically in the beginning stages of a game, especially with their aim.
Yeah, Epsilon can normally bully their way in, but they tried to switch up a little bit then by using the suicide or the highway side, should we say, and going for the straight C challenge, which has become more commonplace because the long-range shots aren't so easy to land with the weapons currently in rotation or in play. But it just didn't pay off for them at all. They got really bullied out by ExAequo, who put one player there to deal with it, and it worked. PyRo did the job. He did very well there. But right now, Epsilon, as we know, they can bully themselves into these things when they just out-aim players, and that's exactly what happened right then. David just managed to take down the one pivotal player, goes for the follow-up. He's going to get it as well. Sadly, not able to get the third, but he's opened up the entire mid-section, giving the rest of his team a good bit of control and maybe being able to set up here. Finally, Asterix playing a little bit of a ExAequo role that we used to see coming into play, picking up one, defending the street, and denying the push-up around the side has given them a little bit of a chance to actually nail this side down and keep it under kind of control, should we say. But Blade and Terra finding the kills, I believe, with inside the building and around the right side of the highway, have opened up once again.
Now we're seeing Duke. I can't remember who it was yesterday. I think it was Jera was the one playing this position, kind of sitting on that kind of connector between both buildings and just picking up the kills from that high ground. Actually, will drop here as Asterix. Well, he's looking for that kill on the catwalk here. Unfortunately, won't pick it up, but he is on the backside towards C. He's becoming a little bit of a nuisance here as he's trying to cap it over every once in a while. Again, they still are down about 20 tickets. He's being hit from all different directions here, and he eventually will be taken down. And that is honestly, I don't know. That's not the Epsilon that I remember. That's not the Epsilon that I've come to know. Being in really awkward positions, you know, by yourself. Usually it's a 3-4-man squad, you know, very tactical about it, pushing in towards a flag. And right now it just seems to be just try to cap something. Everyone do anything you can, and let's not really make any calls.
Yeah, it does seem a little bit sloppy for these guys, but it's just a nice little setup, actually, with Terra there and ExAequo. You get the nice watch over then from the guy at the back, and ExAequo can then deal with it once he's been spotted out. That's really nice, actually. It stops him having to peek out unnecessarily. But those nades coming in quite nicely for Epsilon, just making it a little bit harder work for ExAequo. Terra did go for the push forward, does get taken down, but he spotted out David and gave the kill over to ExAequo, leaving Blade to defend C, and Sayo just to be inside this building, maintaining control. And they've kept this 2-1 for quite some time. They've finally lost down it with Epsilon pushing through, but Epsilon are down a good 20 tickets, so this is finally the time for Epsilon to come back in, but they're not putting anyone on this catwalk, and they're actually losing out on these 1v1s, not holding the building as well. So, you know, a lot of the map not quite controlled like normal by Epsilon, but they have got themselves back into these positions. Marzu playing the lower role down there, and David not actually positioning himself within the building, playing more from the side, looking for a kill, and you can see B is now being threatened by Terra coming in from the side by the gift of having that catwalk positioning taken up by his teammates. Might now need to start moving as he will be challenged down eventually by these guys, and you can see that the player there for Epsilon coming through, but it's given enough time for these guys to get on the site and actually get the kills in the bag, but the score has gotten even. That big 20-ticket advantage has now been kind of minimized, but they could work it back with B here coming over towards ExAequo.
One thing that did open up that B push as well was Asterix getting taken down in that ExAequo spot. He was killed, and because of that, they were able to push 2-3 men straight into that one. They weren't going to be, worrying about that backside, and had complete control of it. So they do capitalize on it. They do get the 2-1 hold here, and do maintain control of this lead. But right now, Epsilon, they're going for the push here. Duke picks up one, and it looks like B will be capped back over. And I don't think Asterix is going to be taken down a second time, like he was just prior in that same spot here. And it's, will be Asterix again, but he will go down right as I start talking about him not being killable there. But right now, ExAequo put up a good fight. I really have to give him a lot of credit for that. I mean, they didn't look solid earlier on against Pyrogen, but they're definitely pulling out all the stops right now against Epsilon. Yeah,
but smart play from David then. He knew that his team was kind of stuck in this spot, so he went all the way around the back and applied the pressure there. They might actually be losing out on this B site, and Asterix spawn could be vital for them, getting over towards C, but look at this as well. Probo right around the other side, actually. Very rarely see this kind of spawn coming in, but it has gotten the kill, and it may alleviate the pressure off of C, so they will be getting
the shots, though.
He is, but still, the pressure being pincered in. He's got respawns coming in from Sayo around the side. This should be picked up by ExAequo, but they've taken so long to do it that maybe the advantage is no longer with them, but they will be walking away with a 2-1 hold, surely. But maybe Epsilon can kind of rally themselves back together and actually get a push out of this, because at the moment, I don't feel they're winning out on these situations. They're actually being a little bit scrappy and only just about coming back into them.
Very, very scrappy, very sloppy too. And you know, this goes back to something that I was thinking about that Dogbert said, you know, back the last season, that Dawnbreaker, this is typically one of those maps that you get a giant lead. You get, you know, you're not... very often see 100-ticket, you know, leads into the second half, and right now we're not really seeing any of that. It's very close. I saw the first half; it's only a 6-point lead for Epsilon right now, and Duke, well, he's going for the push here, and I actually want to check out his kills real quick. I'll do that on my side. He's currently sitting at 6-4, 7-5 for David, so not bad in the end, but Epsilon still, they're kind of not playing like we used to see them. I don't know what's going on. I mean, maybe they're feeling the pressure, maybe they're just playing sloppy because this isn't their map choice.
No, but ExAequo are playing well, to be fair. They're spotting out the weaknesses, like Horek being a singular man holding this site. And they've actually kind of went, all right, well, he's holding this on his own. Let's make a push out of this because we can outnumber him. That's what they've done. They've forced David to come back, but this good setup with 2 players right here has made it very difficult. So Asterix now has to fall back as well. And Epsilon, once again, held at a 2-1, but they're not getting the quick turnovers. And this is what's costing them a lot of these tickets. It's 71-71. At the moment, ExAequo do have the 2-1 hold as well. B just about staying in favor to Epsilon, and they're desperately trying to pick up C as the kind of fallback plan, but they're being held in place. Terror really terrorizing the opponents. They couldn't get a triple cap if they're not careful against them. But Epsilon finally get back in towards A, but the damage is being done by ExAequo.
Yeah, they are really putting the pressure on right now. So you see 69-60 tickets, and it's only going to get more in favor of them as they do maintain control of B and do maintain control of C. But the catwalk's being fought over here, and Probo just trying to gather information. This is something that Epsilon did so well on Zavod a little bit earlier on against Pyrogen, just gathering that information and figuring out where to go. But he gets taken down, but he sees the 2-man crossing. Epsilon finally make that push on to B. And with the help of David right there, they will be able to capitalize on it. They will be able to cap it over and try to get the bleed back in their favor. But the thing is, it's so damn close. 6 tickets isn't really a lead.
It really isn't. So let's bear in mind, ExAequo are the team on the US side. If they drop below 6, that's when they're out. But it can go either way right now. And actually, ExAequo don't have the advantage for once. They're down it, but look at this positioning. They're working their way through, getting right amongst the enemy. They're behind enemy lines right now. Probo's been playing this good role where he's waiting for the push and also playing aggressively according to the situation. He waited for Duke's push out, he got the respawn, and now pushes forward with his teammate with him, Seo. It's really well done, and they're going to maybe outnumber the opponents, coming in strong, but they've been crossfired out of this one. Well played in the end by Epsilon. They put so many of their teammates back towards A. They could lose out on B as well because Terra played it nice, played it smart, played it carefully, and took his time towards B.
Marsu, he's actually on catwalk trying to duel out. He's been up there for quite a while, but Terra, as you can see, pushing to B, and Marsu will get taken down. I was going to say, because if he won that duel up there, Marsu, which he did, he could stop this B push, but he gets taken down, and that will be B capped over here. And Terra just going to sit inside the site here, waiting for anyone to push in. We'll spot the man out. We'll get the kill as well. And every single kill you get at this point is so damn crucial, because as you can see, they have a 12-ticket lead, and they're fighting for the first win, or the win in this first map. And right now, you see Seo trying to watch the back cap. It seems like Epsilon are just trying to throw everything they can at any site. They're just cap something now. We need to get this 2-1 back. We cannot afford to keep dropping out in tickets. And they don't really seem to be coming together as a team and going for that normal push. But Seo picks up a kill, looking for the second one, and it looks like he will jump over the wall, get in his face, and pick that up. And they will get that 2-1 hold back for themselves. And Epsilon struggling to go for the cap on a B here. It looks like they will be successful in that one.
Yeah, Terra got a little bit caught out then, but
David gets killed.
Yeah, Probo still waited in the wings, and he's going to move in, completely deny vision from Asterix. He won't be able to get a shot from there, forcing Horek to move in towards him and making those Famases go to work, and actually has paid off perfectly. And, well, B is going back towards Epsilon's favor, but already ExAequo eyes on the next prize. They're going straight up towards A. They're not waiting back for a second. Enemy does go down. That was Duke being eliminated, and Blade now moving in. They're playing this perfectly. ExAequo are a team to be reckoned with, especially at this sort of pace, and they could win this map quite comfortably here.
They very well could, and this, obviously, like we said before, this is their choice of what a time to do it as well. Getting that advantage come into the second map, which will be on Zavod. Right now, 20 tickets to go. This is probably one of the slower games I've actually seen. I mean, we're almost 10 minutes into it, and no one's even won it just yet. And obviously, flags are being capped over here left and right. We're going to see C taken over for Epsilon and B taken over in just a second for ExAequo. And if they, I want to say, if they win out on 1 or 2, major battles right now, that's going to be it. They will secure their win.
Yeah, and Epsilon need to force that issue. They need to go for the big battles to put faith in their teammates, but they're being kind of corralled into these very close-range 1v1s, and those Famases are just ripping them to shreds. They're finally picking up these sites, but already ExAequo straight away going in for C. This is unbelievable. Horek does win out on that one before too many respawns could come in, but this is so damn close. Duke has to pick this up. The tickets are so damn low. A is still in favor to ExAequo. B has finally gone Epsilon's way, and they might get this C site. But still, A is the big sticking point here. They're not sticking towards B. They're waiting some respawns. Maybe Horek and Duke can do something. But they're going for the tri-cap to spin this one around, and they might just get it. Asterix gets shut down, and no! ExAequo hold on, and they're going back in for B. This is still very much up in the air, and ExAequo are going to get a triple cap against the opposition if they win out on B right now.
Seo, he's looking for the kill as well. I don't know who that man is, but he gets a respawn top of him on the other side. And this is looking very dangerous. 8 tickets left for Epsilon. He's going to charge in. He's going to get taken down, though. But Epsilon only have this one flag, and they're immediately trying to rush for C as fast as they possibly can. It looks like they might be able to neutralize it here, but right now the damage is done. They can't afford to die anymore. They can't even afford to respawn, and they're sitting on 3 tickets.
This is got to be game over. Can you believe it? ExAequo coming right out of this game and just doing serious damage. And that 6-ticket advantage that Epsilon had just got nullified completely and utterly. So ExAequo picking up the first game here. And this is the first time we've ever seen ExAequo doing that against Epsilon. It's not something we're used to. That was brilliantly played out in the end. And actually checking quickly with the scoreboard here, every single player from ExAequo played well. There was no big differences. It was all very much every single person playing on point. And it's huge to be able to do that. And credit to them. Epsilon didn't play badly. They just didn't play as good as ExAequo. I'm
actually really scared for them now coming into map number 2 because ExAequo haven't beaten them. In Cup 2 and 3, they both lost 0-2 against them.
Yep.
So to beat them on a map like that and then to go into Zavod after, which they've already, I believe, played before. Yeah, they did against PyRo.
Yes.
I wonder how high the morale is.
It should be sky high. To be able to do that to Epsilon is impressive. It really is. Like, Epsilon are the best team within this league. You may not have seen it today, I've got to say it. They're not looking as dominant as others, but they are still statistically the best team. Whether or not they play like it, we're going to have to wait and find out. Zavod will be a huge point for them. And I've got to say, in the previous game against PyRo, they didn't look too dominant either. They were good. They were okay, but they weren't phenomenal. They it's still a close-ish game. So I'm not sure what we're going to see here, but ExAequo should be proud of what they've already done. But Epsilon are good on this map, but they're also very good on Dawnbreaker, and it didn't show.
Yeah, that's very true. And I can't really fathom Epsilon losing. I don't know. I just come in today. I woke up this morning. I was like, yeah, Epsilon, they're going to lose though. That's the last thing I probably thought of because just they're so dominating. But like you said, Zavod, they didn't look amazing as PyRo.
No, they didn't. Really didn't.
I don't know what happened from that last game to this one, or obviously the match versus PyRo to now. But they are looking. I mean, I don't want to say terrible. I mean, they're obviously a strong team.
They look terrible for Epsilon. That's the thing.
That's probably what I'm looking for.
That's the only way to describe it, because for them, normally they are this dominant force. They're the team that always does well, always comes first, always... Okay, maybe tied with, Fnatic every now and then, but they're always a top 3 team, no matter what way you look at it. Today, they're not quite playing like that. Like, I wouldn't say PyRo's a top-tier team on occasion. They have great days and they have bad days. They come into their own when their back's against the wall, and apparently they've done it again. But I'm just kind of curious as to how this is going to play out, because I really don't know. You go off the first couple of games, I'm not sure.
I just really hope that Epsilon didn't use all their great games in the cups, because like we said before, they won 3 of them and got second in the first one. To do that well and to potentially get knocked out, I mean, obviously they have another chance. Even if they do lose out in this one, they will go to Group D and they will have the highest seed easily, obviously, because they're first place. So it means they will get a bye in the first round. But to, I don't know, just to kind of
to see Epsilon in this position is
so weird.
Very weird. ExAequo have lost a player there, so hopefully he'll be back with us nice and quickly. But yeah, it's very strange to see this. And look at it this way. I think the best way you said it was, ExAequo have never won against Epsilon, and it comes to this point, and ExAequo win a map. Which, okay, I might predict they would pick up a half. They'd pick up a half on a map, but then Epsilon become Epsilon. There you go. But today, they're just not playing that well. I don't know what it is with Epsilon. They're not their dominant force, because you look back through the VODs, and it's as simple as that. You get to see an absolutely phenomenal side, but we're not seeing that today at all. They look good. They're still a good team. They're still very talented. Don't get me wrong. But that's not Epsilon, you know what I mean? It's like looking at a half version of them.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like we're talking bad about them, but I think that even they would agree right now that they're just not playing like the team that they should be. And hopefully they do fix things up here. Obviously, we're just waiting for that last moment of ExAequo to reconnect. And Zavod, though, I mean, what Epsilon did really well against PyRo is when they got control of that, B and C, once they dug into the site, it was really hard to move them out of it. And not to mention, they were, like I think I said before, a can opener. Or is that PyRo? I can't remember now. But they technically can do as well. I mean, the thing is when Epsilon
You're talking about ExAequo as a can opener. They had their one duty.
Was I talking about that then?
Yeah, it's when they had their one job and they did it well. They could open the sites, but they couldn't maintain or rotate.
They weren't flowing well. Thank you. Thank you for reminding me about that.
No worries.
They weren't flowing well against PyRo. And they seem to be doing a lot better. And I wonder, why didn't they just do that against PyRo? Why weren't they flowing like that in the first series?
PyRo did come second in the offline finals. They're not a bad team, but they don't normally play this well until those moments. So I'm not sure. I really find it very hard to predict these teams at the moment because, you know, when it comes down to these stages, you've got basically 2 games to prove yourself. And sometimes you have a bad game or 2. You don't get time to warm up, blah, blah, blah. You're not prepared enough, or you just literally have a bad day. Like, we've all had bad days in game. It's not like we can always play on this incredible tilt, you know what I mean?
That's been me lately, actually.
Yeah, exactly. No, it's very true. We all have these games where it's like, oh, God, I'm playing so damn bad, and I don't even know why. I'm doing the same thing I was doing before, but it's just not working as well. So it could just be a bad day for them, as simple as that. And I wish it wasn't true, but it may just be. So we are almost ready to get underway. I do believe the players have rejoined us. So ExAequo will be on the Russian side, and Epsilon will be on the US side. So I'm not sure what to expect. I think this is very much a proving ground now for Epsilon. They need to step up, and you know, there's no other time than doing it right now.
Well, we will find out here, and I'm actually curious to see what they try to do off the break for both these teams. You know, obviously the Russian side versus the US, and I want to say, and I want to hope the ExAequo does something a little bit different, because I believe, if I'm not mistaken, Epsilon send like 2 or 3 men towards A and actually go for the cap onto it. And this time they're going for something a little bit different. They're actually sending 2 towards C a little bit. Just going to obviously send that 1 to cap, and only 1 towards A. So they want to control B here. They're going to have a 3v3 breakout, but you can see on the top side, ExAequo are waiting for it. They have 4 men there to defend against this.
They do indeed, but ExAequo are being taken down. Duke has found Provo very early on, and ExAequo play it quite far out, but they're losing the one-on-one battles and now leaving Asterix to actually push forward. He should be able to negate the presence of the player right back here, which is Miziak, who's going to go for the retake rather than the challenge. But Asterix now left on his own. There's a player right in front of him who's actually taking him down, so they're going to claim it, and they could be getting the triple cap. Suddenly, Epsilon remember how to play Battlefield, apparently, and they go and get a triple cap right off the bat.
Well, David, with that flank towards A, he actually picked up the kill on ExAequo, and that opened up that A cap and immediately went for it. But they're immediately going to lose on to B as well. It's just 3 men there, and there's going to be 1 to defend against it. They might lose on A right off the back of that. So that tri-cap might turn out to be actually a 2-to-1 against them, which is always something that's really unfortunate. And Epsilon now, they're forced to wait for these respawns.
They are indeed. And we will have to see what Epsilon can do here, because they are pinned down to C. C is one of the more vital sites to have within your kind of arsenal, but if you can't push out to B, then you're kind of stuck there, because the underpass and the overpass kind of goes past B. You always get to be able to spot it out from it. So the AB hold for ExAequo is staying in place, and they're going to make up this ticket deficit they previously had, and this is the danger. If Terra can find the conversion there on towards Horek, then, well, you're in trouble. But Horek is an experienced player. He will pick up the kill, but Blade immediately replying. This is brilliant stuff. Blade goes for the double kill as well. He's going to pick that one up eventually, and the nice 2-piece will actually secure this one. Oh my word, goes for the 3rd. Why not? Because you're going to get it. Picking that up as well could get them a solid triple cap here, but they cannot leave themselves too thin on these sites. They want to maybe maintain, it looks like B and C. They've lost out on one of the players over by B, so they're going to send over at least Blade to try and help him out. And the way Blade was playing, he's a good player to put there, but now they've lost out on 2 sites here. 4 players from Epsilon towards B have given them a site. 1 man won the 1v1 Horek, they get A. It's a 2-to-1 hold again. Maybe this, you know, ExAequo team, they're great at once again forcing themselves into these sites when Blade plays well, but when they have to make these smart rotates, they start kind of losing that potency.
Yeah, they unfortunately just got completely turned around on them, and if you can't win the 1v1s, just basic FPS rules, they're not going to win the game here. And right now, ExAequo still able to hold on to C here for at least a little bit right now, and we haven't seen all 5 spawned in from them in quite a long time, actually, now that I'm looking at it. And even David picked up another kill, looks for the 2nd, picks up as well, gets the 3rd, and that will be a complete shutdown on that C flag. They will lose A in the meantime, but they still pick up quite a bit of momentum right there because of that.
Yeah, and quite a few tickets.
I think he's a FAMAS?
No, he's running the ACWR.
Okay.
So, interesting pickup, to be fair. It's a little bit of a unique gun, but still, we are seeing ExAequo. They're living with A at the moment. I can imagine Horek's still the guy being the pest out there, which he is, trying to just be a pain, and he's done it. He's taken down Blade, which has opened up the possibility to get a triple cap again. And actually, you know, ExAequo are being really bullied out of this map. They've lost that kind of strength they previously did have, and David just gifting another squad wipe against ExAequo. That's going to make it hurt, and those tickets are going to start really pouring away from the opposition. They're already down in 98 to 115, and it doesn't look like there's going to be any turnaround soon. ExAequo are stuck in mid, and there's no easy path to either side from here. So they're going to have to try and, you know, pull themselves back together in this one and try and, you know, fend off the loss, because I've got to say, Horek has been the player to do this. They've never been safe on A, and as soon as he's in trouble, he can respawn and do his own thing. He's pretty much a solo member here, just completely being a pain. And when he's back up, and there's a lot of people here, calls in the rest of the side, and over we go. They lose out on A, but they can retake it very, very quickly.
And they will retake it very quickly, too. And you can see just on your screen that ExAequo just keep being picked off left and right here. Every time we go to a new person, they get taken down. That's like 3 in a row. Terra, though, looks like he will be the man to stay alive, picks up 1 kill. And it looks like he's trying to turn A back around, but the damage has been done. A new, fresh set of respawns are coming in towards that C flag for ExAequo, and Honestly, I mean, this is a huge lead. 50 ticket difference now. But we've already seen in the past, obviously in the game just prior, how quickly that 50 ticket lead can really just disappear.
Yeah, but I've got to say it, Epsilon are having their way with ExAequo. Once Horik, I can imagine that's him right now, yep, gets back into position. They can do the same thing over and over, and it's rinse and repeat for these guys. They're finally back in their own thing. Duke gets a little bit aggressive, probably to respawn, maybe by B to support Marzu, or maybe come back in towards C, where they feel the threat is the heaviest. And we are going to wait to see which one he goes for right there, because David and I believe Asterix are trying to fend it off, and they are actually locking it down. There comes the support in of Duke. He felt that B was maybe the more threatened side, but it's actually going to be C that they could lose out on here. But still, the ticket lead that they currently have is massive, and it's going to be very hard for ExAequo to work or, you know, power their way out of this, because it's not easy, because they constantly have Horik, you know, being that pain, being that pest, and being the guy right around the side to always be in their backs.
They need to minimize the damage somehow, too. They need to get a 2-cap just to kind of take this lead away. I mean, it's 80 tickets at this point, and it is just getting completely out of hand. And right now, like I said, Horik able to apply that pressure, as well as Asterix now picking up the torch here to do it as well. Then we go into that spot that I believe was it Winghaven that was the first one to really use that. And they will take up the kill at A, and they will go for the cap here. They have enough men to defend against us, even if Asterix does drop. But now it's going to be a 2v1, it seems. And David just looking for them to start going for that flag, and then maybe go for that push, and maybe just wait for that respawn or two. They do eventually get it in here, but see, there's only one man to defend against it, and he will go for the push. He will actually not pick up the kill, and that is exactly what ExAequo needed to get back in this game.
Yeah, they needed something, and they're finally turning it around. They've taken a little bit of time to chip away at the opposition, and Provo catches a glimpse of one. He does manage to defend the side for now, but he is in trouble. 2 players now against him. The respawn came in behind the pillar. He didn't even spot it as it came through, and Epsilon are just overwhelming them on this C side. Blade now, the last man really standing for ExAequo here. That's either go huge or maybe look for the smarter play, which is watching the push out, which is exactly what he's doing. He does get a bit of payback there, does pick up the kill on the way out to B, and they took their time, and they retook the side nicely and in a smart way. Picking up the 2-1 hold for now, but it's going to come down to this 1v1 with Terra, and I believe that's going to be Horik doing the same again.
You would have to guess. You know who that man's going to be over towards A, and Horik will, unfortunately, will lose out on that one, but he has pulled 2 respawns back there, so that gives him a sign to push in towards C, and that's exactly what they're going to do here. So you do see the kills coming in left and right here. It looks like Epsilon will win out on that one. And you can see 94 to 23 tickets. They are so close to shutting this one out with a giant lead on Zavod, and they need this. They need this momentum coming into that second half, considering they already lost out on the first map. But, man, look at him. He's staying alive just barely right there, becoming a real pain. But that will be C-capped over, and now we're into this final push. ExAequo has to cap something over right now if they want to be able to chip away at this lead. Yeah,
they really have to. A is great to have, but it takes about 5 seconds for Horik to start running over towards it. There he is. Of course he's going towards A. And you needed to do something about 5 minutes ago, because the last push ExAequo just made, the respawns that we're going to get were going to be so far out, and they already had A as the site in hand. The only options were B or C, which are completely and utterly locked down by Epsilon. So these tickets mean very little to them right now, because they know it's going to be going away. A couple of kills here and there, hoping for a respawn, but I can imagine Epsilon won't be respawning now. They're going to bleed this one out properly, and a 90 ticket advantage. That's the Epsilon we know, but I don't know why it took so long to get there.
I think maybe Dawnbreaker is one of those maps they have been practicing then.
I don't know why they wouldn't be. It's quite popular.
It is. I mean, well, unfortunately, we haven't seen it today. It has been the 3rd map, though, in the PyRo versus Epsilon game, but they're not, I don't know. Maybe it's just one of those maps that just haven't really, you know, really focused, you know, hunkered down on and really practiced. It could be, considering we have, you know, Siege of Shanghai really being popular, Lankang Dam seeing it every once in a while now. Gomon Railway is actually one of the maps that I have not seen all season when I've casted.
You haven't casted much,
though. I know, exactly. So that's why I can get away with saying this, but I haven't seen it that much. I don't know about you on your end. I know you've seen it at least once, because I've actually watched
I've seen a couple of games of it, to be fair, and I like the adaptation with it, actually. A lot of teams run with an engineer class straight up, so I think it's the Russian team can get a nice little route through towards B and A. And there's been some nice changes. Generally, I've seen a lot of Dignitas playing it, a lot of Infused, a lot of the teams earlier on.
I remember, because you mentioned Dignitas, at the offline finals, actually, they were playing against, I can't remember the team off the top of my head. I think it could have been Pyrogen or something. I'm not sure. Maybe Wahlberg actually in chat can say something about that. But they got 3 rockets thrown at them right when they spawned in. As in, like, they just started, 3 rockets came straight at them and killed them all. And they had 1 guy escape to get towards A to cap. Like, they immediately got blown up. And we were confused. I think it was Benson I cast him. We had no idea. Maybe it was Dauber. No idea what happened. And we were blown away. And we talked to them after. And they're like, yeah, well, 3 rockets came straight at us and immediately killed us. And that's things that you're still learning about these maps. There's always those little intricacies that you could use to your advantage.
I don't think we can call a rocket intricate, can we?
Well, I mean, the path... Technically, no. I'll agree with you on that.
There's nothing intricate about a gigantic rocket destroying your entire team.
But the thing is, if you do that, you have to commit 3 people to NG class right away.
Oh, to be fair,
and
it's
that's
completely viable on their map, though, because you can destroy the buildings that provide cover. So It's this new meta that's kind of coming around from it, because I'm kind of waiting for that to become almost blasé, because you can no longer play these long-range weapons like the Scarf, for example, as potently as before. So how many players now do it? But anyway, we are back in the game, and we'll stop kind of dribbling on a bit. It'll be Epsilon on the Russian side, ExAequo on the US side. A 90-ticket advantage over to the Russians right now, which is Epsilon. And, well, they look like they might be getting a 2-1 if they win out on this side, which, with Asterix doing that, has certainly opened it up. So it's looking good for them so far.
That guy made his ankles like pulp right there, just shoot out the entire time. Asterix, but you got the kill either way. They will get the hold on B. And now, if Horik has A, what is he about it? What is he back cap? He must feel so lost, you know, in this game right now.
C.
Oh, he's in the back half C over and over again now.
Yeah.
But they will lose on A in the meantime, so I would imagine he'll be making his way over there here in just a few. But they have the 2-0 hold, more importantly. I mean, like we said, 90 tickets. That's not that far off.
No, it's really not. And any solid 2-1 hold with a couple of kills coming in, they'll be pretty safe. But Terra did cause a little bit of a problem, taking down Asterix and Marzu, and Horik doing what he does best, kind of going over towards A. But they've lost out on B on the meantime. Terra's work there with that Famous, really doing the job. Angle grip on there. No, just running with a standard barrel. Interesting choices. I'd like to talk to these guys to find out why, but ExAequo will be getting a triple cap, and who knows? Maybe it's game on. They thought, okay, we'll give them a bit of hope, and then we'll just rip it away from them. But it's very hard to maintain a triple cap on this map.
Oh yeah, very, very difficult. Even the best of teams can't even really do it here.
Yeah.
Well, right now it looks like A will be capped over. I'm gonna guess that's Horik, but I was right. It was Horik. I didn't even second guess myself. He's gonna cap that one over. Meantime, they're gonna send 3 men over towards B, and we'll be on that 3-on-3 as David gonna push in towards C here, and we'll pick up the first kill. We'll drop down lower. We'll get a little bit of a position advantage, but he doesn't get the Peeker's kill right there, and he will be taken down. Peeker's advantage is what I was looking for.
It was just Blade then just casually throwing the med pack up in the air and getting mowed down. But Epsilon are actually struggling to break through this, I've got to say. They tested the water the first 2 pushes then, and they've not found a pathway out of it yet. And the aggressive push-ups from Terra are keeping them in place for a little bit longer, getting them more substantial respawns into them. But they have broken through a touch towards this C site. But in the meantime, Blade doing a Horik, getting straight over towards A, and maintaining a 2-1 at least for now. But I can imagine Duke or Horik will want to claim their site back. But B will be the site to kind of keep your eyes on right here, because that's the one these teams will want to get. Once you get that C site, you want to get B as well. But it's not going to be so easy for Marzu. He gets shut down by Probo. And now we're going to have to see what Epsilon are going to do to try and reclaim the advantage.
Well, one thing that they do have, though, is time. They have a lot of it right now, considering the lead that they do have. And right now, you can't... well, the downside is if you let a lot of it slip away in the beginning and you let the momentum slip onto the other team, you can really start to snowball out of the game. But right now, I still imagine they have quite high hopes here. They're still maintaining control of C. Horik hasn't really started to go on that rotate towards A just yet. So you do see him finally there and finally making his presence known. But he will be in a one-on-one here. He's going to need to win that one out. Actually, even a 1-on-2 now, to maintain control of it. But we'll neutralize it either way, and that will pull 2 people, and that's the key point. If he wins this, it's going to be amazing for him. He won't, so we'll talk about how he pulled 3 people towards the A flag, allowing them to cap B instead.
Yeah, and well, to be fair, they had no one left at B. It was just perfect, so they can get the better setup of this. But quickly, have they underestimated how fast ExAequo were going to go over? No, perfect hold by Epsilon then, denying the easy crossover towards C. There was what was, to be fair, the easier side to go to, but they just didn't win those 1v1s. But Blade on the back push, coming all the way around. Now let's bear in mind, a good 2-1 hold against them, they can't really afford, so they need to make this count. Sayo and Blade are picking up the kills. 3 members of ExAequo are standing here. They're going to try and make their push towards the site. David goes down, the flank around the back from Duke comes in, but it gets denied. And actually, ExAequo should be able to pick this one up and get a 2-1, but this spawn is going to make it hard work. They need an immediate answer to this, whether it be a B push or a hold here from Blade. He gets the first kill, but will he expect the second from Marzu round the backside? Oh, he gets attacked, not the frag! He gets away! And now A is up in the air still, but this looks like it could go Epsilon's way very, very quickly.
The thing is, at this point in the game, you cannot really afford to lose on anything. There are 112 tickets, and they have about 20 to work with here before they will have dropped this map and take it into map number 3, and it looks like they will maintain control of A, so they have the AC hold. I wonder if they can come back from this. I wonder if they can hold on to this, because they only have 76 more tickets to drop out of Epsilon's pockets, and they will have secured themselves a spot in the playoffs.
Oh, big exchange then, actually. If Horik had picked up that kill, they would have had it, and they're pushing in towards to hold C, and they look like they're doing the job here, but the respawn's coming through. Marzu makes stand, doesn't get the kill, though, and this is brilliant play. The only threat is these random spawns coming in. Horik coming down here, the kind of respawns up this side can be a real problem.
But they're not winning the fight. They're dying left and right.
Doing so good.
This is... I feel like this could happen. I feel like ExAequo can pull this one back. 68 tickets, or 60 tickets to go. Now 59. They have the control of the game that they need. They have the perfect positions. It's their game to lose right now, and they have to win these fights. We're going to see Duke come in. He's going to unfortunately miss a shot. He will pick up the kill in the end, but he will immediately be taken down, and I'm sure that revive will be coming in here in just a few seconds. And now David given his chance here, but unfortunately, he's just not able to break through.
This is unbelievable play from ExAequo, from a team that struggled moments ago. They are flourishing on this map, but Epsilon are putting everything they have into picking up C again, but they're being mowed down one by one by one. Duke goes down as well, and they just about hold on. Yes, everyone went down, but the revives should come in, and Terror is desperately trying to get them, and this is huge. So look at this respawn. That is so important. Oh, I don't think he's going to get it. I don't think he's going to find out in time, but finally David takes him down, but still, immediately ExAequo knows where he's at, and he can hold them in place.
When did we ever see a firefight over here in this quarter? Like, that shows you how intense this game is right now between these two teams. 107 tickets left to go on the side of ExAequo. They cannot drop below 90, and 35 to go on the side of Epsilon. They can't win on these fights. They finally do make some sort of pressure onto the C5. They will cap it over eventually, and even A at the same time. Is that Horik? Is that Horik doing that?
It probably is Horik doing this. No, it's David. David's actually picking this up. This could be a triple cap. This could be the undoing. This could be the absolute death of ExAequo here. Comes into the fight. He does not get the shot off, and David looking to make it hurt. He can't in the end. He goes down. Respawns in towards A. They've got players on B. It could be a 2-1 here, but the tickets are getting so low. 97. They've got 7 more tickets to play with, but this could be a hell 2-1. But they must not die. They cannot lose a single member, and they must maintain a 2-1. Epsilon, however, are not dead just yet. Duke is doing the damage, and he's done it towards B. Surely that's going to be enough to gift this over. This is the last chance for ExAequo here.
Seo, he does push in, just get taken down, though. 5 tickets now to work with. They're trying to cap over C. They need these kills. They have 3 people dead. They can't get the revives on, so they're playing with pretty much 1 ticket now. As you see them at 92, they're so close, and it looks like they will fall, though. They don't have the 2 cap. They finally do neutralize it, but they can't have anyone revive. They cannot come back into this game. They have to hold on for another 29 tickets, so they want to pull this one back. Terror, he'll give it a try, but unfortunately, I think that's just going to be it here. I think Epsilon will pull through, barely, and take it to map number 3.
What a close game we've just witnessed then. That was unbelievable. 1 ticket left to go. GGs are being said. That'll trickle down momentarily, but my God, if only ExAequo could have done that on the first half, then this would be a completely different picture. The game is over now. Obviously, Epsilon did walk away with the 2nd map, so very well played to those guys. I can't believe we're getting a 3rd map out of this. I really didn't expect it.
I don't know. I don't know if I agree with that. I hoped Epsilon would step up, but I didn't expect that second half to be that close. That's what I'll say.
Jesus Christ, no, that was brilliantly played.
I saw 90 tickets. I'm like, okay, well, we're going to see a map number 3 pretty quickly. But then again, it just got to the point where they're like, well, we're holding on to this 2v1. We're at 111 tickets working with. They're at about 80, and they're starting to tick down even further. And out of nowhere, I don't know how they did that, but they completely came together and just dropped them so damn low.
If they did that on the first half, you know what I mean? You look back at this and you're like, God, if only they took that 10 minutes extra maybe to talk things through, or whatever it is they should have done. If only they'd done that. And they could have caused the biggest upset here of the fact that Epsilon would be almost out of this.
Imagine if it wasn't a 90 ticket difference. What if it was maybe 70?
Yeah. If they were able to maintain a little bit longer, just holding on for a couple more seconds, it could have been so different. But, you know, that is the way the cookie crumbles sometimes, you know. And sometimes when you finally see that, oh, we can do this, even though it's on the last, like, 10 tickets you've got, you're like, oh, this is possible. And then suddenly you step up. But it's when you start regretting those first initial choices you make, you're like, God, if only we'd kind of taken this moment a bit more seriously, if only we'd focused a little bit harder in this one situation, it could have given us the game. But it doesn't matter.
Horik wasn't being that guy to rotate behind us to get A overtime.
What a scumbag. But we are almost ready to get underway into the third map, should I say, excuse me. So we can dive into that. And if you are just tuning in, obviously, let's take you through these lineups. For ExAequo, a team you may not necessarily know as well as Epsilon. Blade, ExAequo, Probo, Seo, and Terra. And for Epsilon, David, Marzu, Asterix, Duke, and Horik. Very familiar faces. And I'm not sure what to expect from this, Jason. I really don't.
I'm trying to think. Because ExAequo, they've shown that they can step up in second halves. Like, they really can. And I wonder what's Epsilon's game plan, because I think it's going to come down to, can ExAequo read it in time? Can they figure out the weakness and, you know, really work with that? Because, to me, this is a perfect map for Horik. To constantly go towards C, constantly hit A over and over again. He's proven so many times that he can win these 1v1s and potentially even 1v2s. So I think if ExAequo, they get control of Horik, I think they can control the game and win it.
I'm going to wait and find out. I don't know what to tell you. It's coming down to how they play this. You know, after the first game, I'd be like, well, it's an easy map. Oh, you see the first half score in the second map, you'd be like, oh, easy game for Epsilon. It was not easy at all. Like, any mistake they would have made towards the end then could have cost them the entire game. So definitely not easy in any way, shape, or form. Why is there a camera up here? What are you doing?
You're welcome. No, I know why it's up there. Remember, last time we were doing groups, we were talking about something there about the Megalodon.
Oh yeah, the little numbers
a long time ago,
up here.
yeah. But it was figured out finally.
Yeah. Well, they got added in. Yeah. I'm just gonna, sorry.
Still was figured out, technically.
It was. But anyway, on the US side, it will be Epsilon. On the Chinese side, it's going to be ExAequo. And we will be seeing the immediate exchange going down. Bigger commitment from ExAequo out towards A, only putting Duke there for Epsilon. But on the flank, David gets caught, and the first man down, and it's back to a 2v1. It looks like ExAequo could walk away with the advantage here.
So they might, in fact, as well. They do get control B. They do grab A as well. But look at Terra right now. I mean, just kind of sit in the buildings. This is what we expect. You know, whoever can control the buildings can usually control the pace of the game that we saw even in Group A. But Terra will be naded down. He will eventually fall. And it looks like A will fall over to the hands of Epsilon as well. And even potentially B here. So we might even see a tri-cut coming in very quickly for Epsilon. Maybe we're going to see exactly what Epsilon did in the first half. Azava taking a 90-point ticket lead. Maybe that's Epsilon that's showing up here right now.
Might be, but Marzu is struggling to land these shots towards that singular house. Blade finding Horik in the meantime has given an advantage to ExAequo to make a move here. C is theirs, as is B, and Epsilon are just struggling to get out of this. They have A, which is fine, but even with the superior positions towards that B site, they've not been able to make anything of it because they've got no one pushing towards it. So you've got Asterix up in the building, Marzu doing the same. But with such a threat constantly being applied at the likes of A, Duke doesn't have the freedom to push over towards the B site. And that's what they need to get. They need an additional player here to be able to pester the sites, because the longer this 2-to-1 stands, you know, ExAequo can be happy with this. They don't need to do anything.
Can you go to the overview camera and actually show us the man on the southeast side real quick? It's going to be Blade on the bottom right. Whoever goes out there.
Blade.
True, but I want to point out the fact that he's been pulling Duke over here many times now, and he's been staying alive. And because that, Duke hasn't been able to sit inside of A, hasn't been able to make sure to secure it, and it opens up the back rotate from C towards A if they do need to go for it. If B is starting to be harassed over, but Duke does pick up the kill. Blade does fall, and the storm does roll in here. But B looks like it will go back in Epsilon's favor here as they do get almost a full squad wipe. And we will see that 2-to-1 finally go back for them, but they are already down 30 tickets almost.
Yeah, and that was down to some good play coming out from David, I think it was, around the back towards that singular house, just powering their way over and kind of clearing house by house. But it has given a small amount of control over for ExAequo towards these buildings, but they are losing out on the 1v1s, and actually I'm only seeing the Ace 23 in their hands. Like, previously we saw a lot of Famases, but this map doesn't really allow for it. So it will just be Ace 23s and I think an ACW in there as well, but it's not really working out for them, and even with the advantage they have, that's going to trickle away very quickly, unless they can kind of get their hands on another site here. And it looks like they're eyeing up A, and they've got Probo in the right spot for it. And actually, good support from Terra. They could get this, but Horik also does what Horik does. He's getting out towards C. Yeah,
he is doing that floater roll that we always seem to see out of him. And actually, he was one of the first men I really saw do that, as well as Delarco in the last season. But he's perfected it. It's down to a T here, and he will be able to cap over C. In the meantime, we see a push coming in on B out of ExAequo, and they will pick up the kill they need on David. So they could potentially open this one up, though. They need to make sure they don't get hit from the buildings. They need to get a little bit of control onto it if they do want to lock these down here. And you're seeing Mim go straight in for that. Picks up the kill as well. And he will be able to cap that one over. So we're going to see an A-B hold for, for ExAequo here. And Epsilon, they're fighting on the back foot again.
Yeah, and they're being kind of forced into these situations where they're having to come face to face, because it seems like ExAequo are just negating their presence within these buildings and has taken enough pressure off of C that they could get a one-man splitting out there. Sayo will be found and taken down. That's actually Horik falling, but now Blade is in trouble. He's got some support coming in with him. He's got the respawns, but this position is good to watch the cross, not the push. And right now, actually, Duke found that one out. You can do some great damage close range from that one, but David picking up Terra and ExAequo probably putting in a little bit of trouble to make any sort of damage towards any other site. So at the moment, A is Epsilon's, but you do see two players there making it real hard work for them to keep in tow. And Blade completely forgot about the player who's actually challenging, and it looks like this could be a triple cap coming for Epsilon.
Very well could be. They do get the kill on C, so that will be the triple cap coming in. I don't know exactly how this is. This is the time usually in the game where they kind of get down themselves, but they also kind of figure out the strategy and work around it. So I wouldn't be surprised to see a big, surge of energy out of them and a big surge of points, or at least tickets taken away from Epsilon, as they're going to make the move on a B. They are going to capitalize off it, and they will secure it. But now they're fighting back for that second flag, and I wonder where they're going to go. Are they going to hit up C, or are they going to work towards A? Because right now they have one man towards A, as you can see on the right-hand side of your screen, just working in between those containers. But he's 3 men against them, and he will eventually get taken down. So right now, Epsilon looking very strong, and you can see on the overview, ExAequo are in the buildings completely. Like, every single person is inside one of these buildings just trying to hold on to the crosses.
Yeah, but that's because Epsilon put 4 men to deal with 1 on A. They pretty much gave them this, but Horex, being so damn sneaky, is constantly in these sites and not allowing ExAequo to peek. Blade now has to come out of the building, deny control, and come and face him, like, head on. It's
like a man.
Like a man. Blade does go in, and Probo actually picks it up in the end, but it's caused enough of disruption to allow control back into the buildings for Epsilon. So, yes, it's not a 2-1 in their favor right now. It's still a very close game, but Epsilon are in a better position in the long run if they can take down ExAequo to actually do something with this one. But still, this is a very back-and-forth game with 2 very different styles of playing it. Epsilon are being forced out of their comfort zone because ExAequo aren't playing this like a normal team. They're playing very, very differently here.
The weird thing is, I feel like ExAequo's pushing Epsilon further than most teams ever do. You know, and they're taking to the brink of potentially being, you know, knocked into Group D here instead of advancing in through out of the group, which probably 99% of people out there expected them to do. And right now, they're doing a great job of it. They still have that 2-1 hold. They're going to get the lead here in just a few seconds, finally. And I wonder if they can keep this pace up. I wonder if they can keep matching Epsilon here.
They can. It might push them on the other half. That's what it seems to work with. But Blade goes straight in like a man towards that B side, picks up the kill, and does manage to claim that one. And actually, Sayo's been able to hold on to this. You know, Duke does stay in the buildings, but it's not giving them much. And actually, I quite like the way ExAequo are playing this, but they do have to deal finally with a couple of members for Epsilon at the same time. But you can see those tickets are slowly but surely trickling away from Epsilon. They're being chipped away at, and Horek, Asterix, and Co. trying to push into these buildings, getting thwarted at the doorways. Probo finally goes down, but ExAequo still standing. Can he get his third? No, he gets denied in the end. A good double for Horek, then coming in, completely regaining control. But in the meantime, they've lost 10 tickets trying to do this. And ExAequo still have 2 players in the opposing side of the buildings, causing real damage and being a real threat to them. And it gives them an easy rotate up towards C if they need it, if they lose out on B. So, interesting choice. They want to remove this cover away, actually. So we're seeing, I believe that's ExAequo, yeah, running with the rocket launcher in hand, going with the RPG there. Just going to take away the cover and give maybe a little bit of an easier hold over, but Sayo could be in trouble here.
You know what's so weird right now is that I'm looking at, or I'm comparing in my mind the games from Group A on Parasol Storm versus today. That's always obviously the only map we've seen, but both teams don't care about C. And why I'm putting that particularly is because that single building control on the west side is something we really kind of talked about a lot in Group A. Yeah. Because if you control that, you can control the vision on a C, and that's where all the action really went down. But right now, it's just about holding B and A and holding that for as long as you possibly can. Horik can rotate probably in a C as much as his heart wants to, and he'll probably get the caps over and over again. But the pressure that ExAequo's applying with that A-B hold when they do get it is just so deadly. And right now, they're going to be pick up a trip cap here.
Yeah, and it's because of the work that ExAequo's been doing, and he's still holding the push. That's so well done. Horik goes down, and he gets the double to boot. He's removed all their cover, given Probo, Terra, Blade every single opportunity to push these guys. And he's just been playing so perfectly. Probo, still being a pest, has gifted this triple cap for such a long time. Sees an option, but ExAequo needs to turn around and give a little bit of attention over here, and he can at least contain the threat. So well played, and he knows where they're at. And this is a real problem for Epsilon.
It is 67 to 19 tickets. And this was the last map. No one really chose this one. Well, I guess technically Epsilon chose it for the third one, considering they didn't choose it for number 2. But either way, they are being pushed to the brink of a loss here right now, and they're getting wiped constantly. B, can he be contested a little bit here as you see Asterix finally make his way in there, but the superior building control, it looks like, is that ExAequo in the building, I'm going to guess, in the single building right there. Might look towards that B flag and might be able to hold on to this one. B will be capped over. That 2-1 will go for Epsilon's side, but for how long is the question?
Yeah, and straight away, it's like ExAequo aren't afraid to die. They aren't afraid to play like this kind of aggressive, scary battlefield sometimes because it's winning them the game. They finally, or Epsilon finally get B, but you know, C already being challenged by Terra. He's being the pain there. ExAequo gets a bit of a strange spawn, not an ideal one. And the rotate coming in from Duke there around the side of them is going to cause them trouble, rotating off of B right round towards that C side. And actually, this could be a triple cap coming back to horn ExAequo. After having such a strong lead, they are a little bit in trouble here. They're out of position, and B is not an easy side to claim over when you've got Duke just prowling around here, running with that ace 23. Does get the shot off as well. He's going to pick that one up on towards Probo and goes for the follow-up. Gets the spray down. Not going to get the connection. ExAequo will find it in the end, but the deficit that was huge against the likes of Epsilon has now been kind of minimized to a point. But if they get any 2-1 against them, they're in trouble.
Well, and right now, it looks like they will be able to cap over C with the help of Blade right there. Playing Horik role, I guess you can call it now. Let's see if he can pick up this 1v1, because if he does, oh, he gets taken down. If he did, he could have capped C, and that would have given them the control. But right now, they're still kept on to only A. And if you think back to that first game when it was so close on Dawnbreaker, but they ExAequo pulled it back to only a 6-ticket lead for Epsilon. Epsilon might do the same thing back to them here. 6 to 35. It's 34 now. They're falling so damn quickly. And ExAequo they just can't get a flag back.
They just need a flag or a good squad wipe, and they are good to go. But only taking down Marzu not going to be enough, but they do find him with a respawn. So Marzu goes down. They spotted another player, so they know there's someone around here. They're going to go straight in for B. And actually, David is in the best position possible. He must get these kills. He gets another down with Duke helping him out, and they are stretching this one all the way through. Perfect play from David coming around, finding the majority of the rest of the side. But ExAequo were looking for the easy way out, and there wasn't one. And that's how this time's been stretched so far. And actually, Epsilon could walk away with an advantage in this. Those respawns coming through, but 3 tickets left is not a lot. They must get these kills. They're not going to get a sight in time, but Epsilon's tickets are down to 2. And if Marzu and David respawn, that's over. So they're down to 3 players here. Asterix, Horek. Oh, Duke's gone. So it's Asterix and Horek to hold on here, but the tickets are getting low for the opposition. They just need to play smart, but just Horek left alive. He's got 1 respawn. They choose David to come back through. He goes for the shot. He gets the shot. 1 to 7. This is going to go all the way. David and Horek doing real damage, but now it is just down to Horek, left with the weight of the world on his shoulders. If he loses out on this B side, there is game over. He must beat these 2 players down right now. He's going to get the tag, got the frag, and it's too little too late. But only a 6-ticket advantage from the first half. Jeez, that's a lot of difference there.
Too little too late. I'm just thinking, they were down like 50 tickets, but they pulled it back so damn far at there somehow at the end. And I don't know if that's ExAequo just falling apart or Epsilon really stepping up, but either way, 6 tickets. I wrote down 9 for some reason. That is not a good sign if you're ExAequo. I mean, they had full control of that game, and yet it just slipped away.
Well, yes and no. Okay, so basically, I want to look at it this way. It's a great sign for ExAequo, because who on earth would have thought they'd walk away with any advantage taking Epsilon to a 3rd map?
True. A little harsh, but true.
We're putting them on the same pedestal here as, you know, Pyrogens, your Fanatics, your, other teams that can always be at this top level. ExAequo have been good. They've always been good. You know, I've always backed them, but it's been a rarity. I've seen them play like this on a regular basis. And the last half of that map, Epsilon became the Epsilon we know. They play solid. And to be fair, once that cover was removed from ExAequo, they weren't sure what to do to get back in the game. And that's the kind of risk you take, and sometimes it doesn't pay off. So I'm hoping they can kind of bring themselves back together here and do the job they have in hand, because they played so well to this point. It'd be a shame to see them going home here without the victory.
Yeah, and obviously, I mean, to be the 2nd team to qualify through into the playoffs out of groups would be a big weight off their shoulders too, considering that means you don't have to play again next Wednesday.
Yes.
And play against some really good teams to try to earn your spot. But second half here, obviously, you're going to be swapping sides. We're going to see the same lead out of ExAequo that Epsilon had on Dawnbreaker in the first map.
I love Dawnbreaker. It's my favorite map.
What breaker?
Dawnbreaker, the one you just talked about.
Dawnbreaker?
Anyway.
I have a stutter, okay?
You would be an awful commentator if you had a stutter. That wouldn't be
looks like we're not going to go live. Nope.
Oh,
had someone drop on ExAequo's side. But still, I mean, I wonder how ExAequo are going to go about this. We saw... This is what worries me, is because they came out of Zavod on such a high note, and then they kind of took that high note and that high momentum, or that great momentum, and used it into Parasol Storm, but then they lost it at the end. And I wonder if they're going to be able to build that back up, or they'll still stay, unfortunately, down there.
It's a good point, Jason. I'm not sure.
I can make good points every once in a while.
Yeah.
I have some good things every now and then. I had a burrito. That was a good thing.
Yeah, but you didn't bring me a burrito.
You didn't ask?
Why do I need to ask you? You should always assume I want a burrito. Jesus Christ.
Because you owe me one.
That's a lie.
Oh, wow.
I have bought you alcoholic beverages as, like, a counterbalance to this.
I don't drink. Drinking's bad, Lauren?
That's a lie. How's that haircut of yours going? Do you need another new one soon? Or so you bring this over right now?
That was,
yeah. And
that
even Matt, the producer's hungry, man. We don't feed our producers that much.
Yeah, but I don't like him.
Whoa. Are you trying to play you don't like me either by not getting me a burrito?
You said it, I didn't.
You are a scumbag.
But those beers are always delicious. But right now, ExAequo.
It wasn't beer that shaved your head, Jason.
It was vodka.
It was.
That was good times.
It was not.
I saw a video actually linked to me the other day of it, and I was
don't
watching it.
Come back to us.
I was watching it, and I was just like, I'm so proud of myself for that. But I'm disappointed because...
I literally called you Britney Spears for like a week. And I was happy with that. It was like Britney Spears' breakdown. It was perfect.
It wasn't a breakdown. It was just having
fun.
No.
It was a breakdown.
But the thing I was disappointed is that I was trying to sell the stream at the time. I want to do multiple haircuts where I lose hair each time, but I can, obviously get more fun out of it. And they're like, no, just shave it off now. And I'm like, really?
We're not here
You're
for
missing
the
an opportunity.
long run. We like stupidity in an instant. We're the internet.
Well, don't worry. If I'm allowed to do another stream like that,
no.
wax in the chest on stream.
Just take us back to the map, Matt. Don't make me.
Even the storm's trying to get over me, so I can't say this. Trying to be louder than me.
Oh, Jesus Christ! This, ladies and gentlemen, my co-caster. Such profession, very well. We are just...
Someone, Daubert put a Skype picture as me shaving my head.
Yeah? Oh, I hope that's true.
You owe Sneaky Prayer spaghetti, so no burrito for you.
What do I owe him?
Spaghetti, apparently.
Why do I owe you spaghetti?
Mm-hmm.
What? Okay, explain why I owe you spaghetti, and we'll see how we're doing. Like, I'm not even sure what I've done.
I believe him.
I'm not sure.
See, they're all disappointed in you.
Oh my god, Pansy. Let's come back.
Jerry wants me to shave my head again.
Jerry should get out of group stages.
I wonder if I can break 29K viewers if I do it again.
Jesus Christ. This is not an okay thing, all right? This is not like you selling your new thing.
You don't understand.
Okay, see, it's like...
the bottle of vodka cost me like, what, 20 euros? I made like 500 euros that night from donations and subs. Like,
that is not a good thing.
Worth.
Yes, but your reputation
my liver was destroyed a little bit.
No,
but
it's the reputation. Like,
did I ever have one to begin with?
Well, we could have lied to you.
Well,
now
you don't have to, so that works out for both parties.
That doesn't make it any better, Jason. Jason, stop. Righty, let's get ready for the game, ladies and gentlemen. All of you beautiful people in Twitch chat, let's get underway, because I do believe the players have rejoined us. And
have to restart one more time to get appropriate sides.
Oh, damn restarts. Gotta love them. I kind of want spaghetti now.
Apparently, what'd you do Monday?
Did I do Monday? Battlefield.
Wait, what?
Was that Jera?
Yeah.
Oh, did Jera make it out of groups on Monday?
Demon. And I lost my whole reputation with that. Pretty sure I didn't have one to begin with, so it doesn't really matter to me.
Hey, look, Demon, you made the point that I did. It's almost like we...
Because he's listening to you. Maybe it's kind of like you guys are dating.
Shh.
And have been for
Slander.
like 9 months.
Slander.
And live together.
Don't know what you're talking about. I wouldn't date a dirty league caster. Jesus. It's disgusting. Ooh.
I don't know what you're
If
doing.
only Toby loved me, that'd be much more respectable. Toby won.
Oh, okay.
Jeez.
That's not what I was thinking.
Jeez.
So.
Jeez, you don't get jokes,
looks like we're live.
Jason?
Looks like we're live.
Ah, Lord above. Anyway, ladies and gents, let's get back into the game. ExAequo will be starting on the US side, and Epsilon will be on the Chinese side. And to save Jason shame, do take us away from your previous topic and into the game.
Sorry, I'm still focusing on me shaving my head. But right now, okay, so side's going to be swapped. It's only a 6-ticket lead for ExAequo here. But both teams are fighting for the chance to get into the playoffs and not have to play in Group D. Right now, as we do see, Epsilon, again, early 2-1 hold here, but it's a big breakdown, actually, or a big fight breaking out at B here, and it looks like it will go out in favor of ExAequo. Stop laughing. But it won't be killed, so it will be that 2-1 hold. Still in favor of Epsilon here.
Yeah, that big breakdown, it can happen to anyone, and right now I'm hoping it's not going to be Epsilon, actually. Ooh, Asterix tried to get in a good position, probably to use that Engineer class to remove some of the cover, like we saw Miziek doing previously to them, but he actually got caught in the heels there. So it's A and C being held up by both teams in their kind of respected sides, but B is still being battled over. And at the moment, ExAequo are kind of coming out on top of this one. They've spotted out the players just over the horizon. They're picking up the kills as they go. Terra fending off the opponents, but Horek doing what he does best, sneaking around the backside, but he does actually get picked up this time, so not able to pull off the jobs he was doing before. But C going Epsilon's way has kind of negated all that kind of effort that ExAequo just put into B. So kind of spinning around, and that's why it's still so close. 135 to 141. We haven't seen these teams kind of settle into their ideal setups or go for what they want to do. And you are seeing the kind of cover being removed from both teams, so you'll see a more even battle kind of emerging in a couple of seconds.
I kind of want to say we saw the result of the momentum shift for ExAequo, like we were questioning before, since they came out of that first half in a low note, if they would continue to be right there. And I feel like they kind of were in the beginning, but with this 2-cap, they're starting to get really, riled up. And I really worry for Epsilon right now, because ExAequo has shown if they get this 2-cap hold, then they can really run with it. They can get a huge lead against you.
Yeah, they certainly could. So Seo's nade there will kind of keep the opposition at bay and allow Terra to push in towards B. So they should be able to pick this one up, and they've got a good position this time to actually hold it. They've got Seo and Miziek in the double apartments, leaving Duke and Asterix over in the singular. But this backspawn could cause trouble, but it's being dealt with right now. David's in trouble, going to have to spin out that grenade, back away, but there's one at his feet anyway. You can see the other teams rotating around the side, and this has given them an extended 2-1 hold. They've been playing so well within these buildings, they can maintain this a lot better than Epsilon were on this side. Let's bear in mind, last time around, ExAequo was over in this side where Asterix now is, and he was providing the cover, removing the cover away from the opposition, and being a real dominant force. This time around, ExAequo are just kind of negating that presence. He's not, even been able to get a peek. He's able to cover with this side, allowing his teammates to push in, but he can't cover them once they get to the site, and this is the problem. David now has to do this alone, pretty much. The nades going up and over, trying to get this one in the bag, and he actually might be able to just about do it. The rest of the team are being pressured by the likes of Marzu pushing into their domain, and actually spin this one on its head. They finally broke through, but down more to the individual play than the teamwork.
Right now, we do see 3-men hold into this building for ExAequo here. They definitely want to gain control of it, but like you're, pointing out, ExAequo, unfortunately not able to get into that single building, but let's see if he'll be able to get over there a little bit later on. But we do see, obviously, again, ExAequo and Epsilon both want this BA hold here. That's exactly what ExAequo went for. And unfortunately, they have lost out on B here, and they're still trying to fight for it back here. We see a kill come in for Terror, and that might have opened up a push into B, and it looks like in the overview, he actually has been able to. So he should be able to cap over B here if he can win out this 1v1. Even some respawns coming in. Now Sayo trying to provide a little bit of support here. Maybe a little bit of a push in towards the C flag, but we'll swap around, look for the kill, and we'll lock down Marsu right there. But we'll be taken down shortly thereafter.
Yeah, and it was...
Oh, they didn't cap B.
No, they didn't, because Sayo was meant to... Well, surely was meant to provide a little bit of cover for Probo or one of the others, but he just went running past. He spotted a couple of players on the way to them. He probably called it out on voice comms, but he didn't spot them. He didn't kill them. He went for a one-on-one exchange, which was kind of a mistake there, and it has gifted a good 2-to-1 hold finally towards Epsilon, who needed it, to be fair. They're finally getting the advantage kind of trickling in their favor. 104 tickets to 96, and if this goes their way, the tickets are going to be drastically falling in their favor. With a triple cap to boot, that is the perfect start, even if it was just for a second, and they're still challenging out towards C.
And we will see, unfortunately, Epsilon does lose out in the dogfight right there, so that will be C capture over for ExAequo, and it looks like they're going to go straight over to B as well, so they're looking for the 2-to-1 hold, and this score is obviously going back and forth so damn often between these two teams in every single map, and it looks like, unfortunately, ExAequo, they won't get the cap on a B here. That will be maintained by Epsilon, and they are still keeping the tickets trickling in their favor, ever so slowly, but they are going nonetheless here, and you can take a look at overall kills, 21-24. ExAequo actually winning out in that, but they're not winning out in the objective game, and that's what's really hurting them so far. Okay, well, we are finally seeing ExAequo back in the position that he did perfectly in before, and he's been taking away the cover, as you can see in the buildings opposite. They literally have very little left there to provide any sort of backing towards them. But Epsilon this time seem to know what they're doing. They're not falling into the same traps, and there's not such an easy pickup towards B, because they're now putting players in right on this side. So Horik, for example, is playing right on the point. He's got David on the flank around the side, denying anyone pushing through, as you can now see with Terra being taken down. And ExAequo's presence is no longer as potent, let's say, as it previously was. And you're seeing that reflected in the tickets. Down to 66 already. ExAequo needed to change something around about 5 minutes ago, because they're just being beaten at the game they were trying to play, not in, in the last half here. So, C's not enough. They're trying to now bully their way into these buildings, which they're kind of doing, but I'm not sure if it's fast enough. Yeah, and well, they tried right there as Duke just shut them down completely, picking up the 2 kills. Yeah. And they're trying to keep over B here, and it looks like with the nades coming in, that might actually be enough to stop them if he can land these. You're no steal, unfortunately, right there, as we just saw. But anyways, they do get the cap on the B, following the nades like he does. And they will lose out on C, though, and immediately on B as well. So they commit so many resources to cap over a flag. But unfortunately, even if they do cap it, they lose it right away. And that's going to be another try cap coming in for Epsilon, and they're getting ever so close right now to securing their spot in the playoffs.
Yeah, this is a very worrying sight, considering how close ExAequo just got. They really are losing out on the control here.
What are they doing? Look at A. They were capping over, then they immediately both went away from it instead of actually locking it down. They need that point. Yeah, but this is when you can see a good team and a great team. A good team will do the damage on a half, but then they fall apart. They start getting these nerves, these shakes, these very small slip-ups that can cost you games. We saw Infuse do that in one of the cups. Me and Dogbert casted it, and it lost them the game. They completely forgot to pick up the site, and right now, this is a scramble to get a 2-to-1. They've left A fairly open, only one man on it. Sayo there to try and hold on for the entirety. He's nowhere near it either.
Yeah, he's not exactly on the point either. It's behind him, and he's out in the open. He's been taken down. The reinforcements are arriving, but only to be met by the likes of Duke and everyone else for Epsilon, who are in a better spot. So A is up for grabs, but it looks like Asterix is in a better position maybe to turn this one over. But there is an opponent in these trenches that could come around the backside. But all the timing on that, he just about gets away. So this 2-to-1 will maintain for now. But we're going to have to see a quick push towards C from Epsilon if they want to keep hold of this.
And they're currently just sitting around in this little bit of a courtyard towards B right now. And watching David looking for that man up in the building. Will pick up the kill really easily. Picks up a double actually right there. And now that will actually not be A capped over just yet. There's actually going to be one man behind ExAequo here looking for the counter cap. And they won't let that one go. Waiting for some respawns to come in. Duke, he's whipping so many shots right there. But he does eventually pick up the 2 kills. And that will be A cap back over. 22 tickets left to go for ExAequo. And they could have just put the last nail in the coffin with that.
And that was so sloppy, those respawns. They didn't even get to a safe position. They felt so secure that A was clear. Oh, just spawn in on me. That's fine. They didn't even get to a spot that could have been safe. And now you're going to probably see a triple cap. Marzu gets a kill. David gets a kill. Duke just moves in on B. And this is just a complete and utter falling apart of what ExAequo was doing so well. They were challenging the opposition on every single front. Right now, they're barely walking away with A because sometimes they forget to pick it up. This 83 ticket advantage looks so damn dominant right now. And ExAequo have fallen into the old trap of just kind of getting a little bit nervous, making these small mistakes, and Horik and Marzu doing the damage. They could not turn this one around. They have 3 players down, only 2 standing. The respawns alone would probably cost them this title, and ExAequo are out of there. And there you got it. Epsilon will be progressing forward. No real surprise, but it did take them their time.
One thing this really shows me, though, about Epsilon, it kind of worries me a little bit, but also shows they're not mortal. I mean, yeah, they won first place in 3 out of the 4 cups and second place in the one they didn't win. But ExAequo pushed them to the brink of a loss.
Do you mean immortal?
They're not immortal.
I thought you said mortal.
Oh, I don't know. I probably could have said that, but I meant immortal. They're not immortal, and ExAequo pushed them to the brink of a loss right there. I mean, take it to a map number 3, you know, making them look like a scrub team at some points in that game.
They did.
And it kind of worries me when Epsilon, you know, gets into the offline. They didn't perform that well last time.
Yeah,
Are they going to be hit and miss like they were today?
They've got a lot of work to do. They pulled it together. But I don't think we can deny that.
They did.
When they, you know, got really pushed, it finally fell into place. But seeing a team like PyRo just kind of taking them so far already and beating them on maps that Epsilon are renowned for being solid on, and then seeing Dawnbreaker just being a real troublesome map for them. That used to be their stronghold. Like, you get Epsilon on that map, they beat Fnatic. They beat everyone who was at the top of their game. That was when it first happened.
Is that because of ExAequo, though?
That's the thing. ExAequo's position was not as good in the hands of Asterix. I hate to say it, Asterix is a great player. He came into his own on the other maps, but in the same position as we previously saw ExAequo, he didn't quite fulfill the same role. He wasn't as such of a threat. Like, no one could control that catwalk. Like, as soon as ExAequo was on there, okay, he'd get the cross, he'd get the spots, get a respawn in on him, he'll play the same position, and then he'd push around the side, and there's catwalk, there's the entirety of B in your hands.
Usually that position's harder to play when you actually have walls in front of you. That makes things a little bit more difficult. But let's just take a look at the group overview for today and the brackets, and obviously with the 2 teams that made their way through, and obviously their roads there. Don't look at me like that. Or don't look at the camera like that. Don't look at the camera like that. I had to say it. I mean, I don't believe it necessarily, but I had to say it. But I mean, obviously we have our 2 teams now, and PyRo, I mean, if we were to be honest with each other, would we have expected PyRo to get through? I would say personally yes.
I'd say yes, but I'd say in Epsilon's place, I think they wouldn't.
Exactly.
I would have said Epsilon would have walked through fairly unscathed through this, if I'm completely honest.
Yeah, agreed.
With no 3 mappers, but that kind of got proven wrong quite swiftly by the likes of ExAequo really coming out of the gates and proving everyone to make sure they take notice of them, really.
Yeah, very true. And obviously, ExAequo will be moving into Group D, which will be played next week. But let's, for the last part of the night, let's take a look at the overall groups, actually, just so you can see what's coming up Monday. We have Group C, Michi Makers, Dignitas, ESC, and eSuba. And this is kind of like the wild card / group of death for me. It's going to be so difficult to predict who's going to be able to get through this.
Well, considering we thought this group was the fairly clear-cut one, you know, the 2 teams in that group, there was like, okay, we know which ones are going through, in which order. We were really secure in it. We were like, this will be fine. Considering the next one coming up is actually the group of death, I don't want to even make a bet anymore because, you know, I'd say Dignitas in the cups I saw looks stronger than the way Epsilon played, and I'd say a lot of the teams in that group, it's so back and forth. I don't know what to expect anymore. It's very hard to predict when there's teams like this going ahead. And okay, so the games we'll be seeing once they come up will be MYM up against eSuba. Now on paper, MYM should win. They're the previous champions. Right. That should be an easy game. But eSuba is still a very talented team. They always have been. They've always been kind of around quarter to semifinals and get dropped out. And then you got ESC against Dignitas. Now, that can go either way.
Yeah, very true.
That is a ridiculously close game. Dignitas have been phenomenal on occasion. You know, the Finns, they've made a lot of changes. You know, to be fair, we'll talk to Dogbert about it, hopefully get a little bit of background to that. They have made changes. And ESC, always, you know, reaching every now and then, like, you know, just kind of getting right at the heels of the top teams. Not quite making it there. Once again, a quarter to semi-final team.
Kind of like PyRo, but PyRo's broken through finally. Yeah,
exactly. So every single team in this group can cause an upset. There is no safe top 2. I think Meteor Makers, you may be able to say, yeah, we think they'll make it through, but who's going to join them? I have no idea. It's going to come down to the matchups and who just plays better on the day. And
considering we have Group D as well, which you can't actually see the group just yet, but so far it's Infamous and ExAequo coming into that one. And I believe ExAequo has a higher seed, if I'm not mistaken, so they will pretty much Actually, let me double check that because I want to be 100% sure on that before I do say it. ExAequo
Just lie to us, Jason. Just
does
tell
have a
me
higher
lies.
seed. Okay, so they're actually ranked 7 to ranked 9. So they will, at the moment, have a bye round here. It comes up to whether Asuba loses or someone else. So that's matches we do have potentially coming up, but I think that's going to do it for us tonight.
Yeah, it's been a pretty good day and a lot of upsets.
Yeah, a lot of upsets. A lot of good games as well. I mean,
of course.
Unfortunately, in Group A, we didn't really see any, great, amazing three mappers. They're all 2-0s.
We saw some good games from Infamous, though. I think they surprised me a lot.
We saw a lot of potential in them.
Yeah.
But we didn't see any good 3 mappers. True. And obviously, we only got 1 today. But thanks again, everyone, for joining us. Thanks again, Matt, for producing for us. And obviously, we'll be coming. I'm not done just yet. You wait on that. But we will come back on Monday at the same time to do Group C. This is the ESL 1 Battlefield 4 2014 Spring Group Stage, and we will see you guys next time.